Okay. Who do we have?
Jerry.
I'm sorry?
Jerry Linenger.
Jerry. Are you able to see CNN yet?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I've been watching.
All right.
I think you're exactly right in what you're analyzing. I would say it's mostly secondary things, the puff of smoke and that. You've got a lot of materials. Mm-hmm. You're coming through a lot of friction, a lot of heat, and if things are not protected by the tiles, they're going to heat up, and any chemicals on board or leftover rocket fuel, anything of that nature is going to ignite.
Okay, I wasn't able to hear a lot of what you said there. They were talking to me, Jerry. I hope you understand. But
no problem.
There's that flash. You want to offer any sort of supposition there?
Yeah, I would say just what you said. It's very dynamic, and when you're coming in, you're heating everything up thousands of degrees, and so I think those are secondary explosions. Obviously, the primary event already took place. That's just debris coming in, and it's going to burn up, and that's what you're seeing there.
All right, there's that shot, that unmistakable shot that we're telling you about here. We've gotten some still pictures in. We're going to try to get those on the air to you. One of our viewers sent them to us. But let's recap once again, if we could. The Space Shuttle Columbia was supposed to land at the Kennedy Space Center 9:16 a.m. Eastern Time, 45 minutes ago. That has not happened. What has happened is what you see here, right around the 9 o'clock Eastern hour, as it was streaking across southern Texas, well, not southern Texas, central Texas, 100 miles south of Dallas. It broke up at a speed of about 6 times the speed of sound, at an altitude of about 200,000 feet, broke up into numerous pieces. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant streaks there. As you look down there, you can see those streaks. It's quite obvious what we're talking about there. And at this juncture, we've received several phone calls from people in the area of Palestine, Texas. They have seen and heard what has got to be a horrifying sight and sound. The sound of pieces of the Space Shuttle Columbia plummeting to Earth at speeds that would be akin to a bullet shot out of a rifle. The crew on board had spent 16 days in orbit. It was a scientific mission, which was perhaps most notable for the fact that it carried an Israeli astronaut, the first Israeli ever to fly in space, Ilan Ramon. And the mission appeared to go well. There was one thing that engineers were looking at launch. I'm going to try to get you some tape of it. There was a piece of debris which came off the shuttle. I'm going to bring in a model here. There was a piece of debris. This fuel tank here, this orange fuel tank, is covered with, it's insulating foam. It's kind of a rigid insulating foam. And the reason it's got that foam, as I turn to this camera, I'm going to hold it up a little higher for you here. The reason it's got that foam is inside here is the coldest substance on Earth, liquid hydrogen. Ice forms at the top here, and that insulation is there to try to prevent as much of that as possible. The problem is, as the shuttle rises to orbit, that ice breaks off. It can strike pieces of the shuttle as it goes, causing some damage to what is the fragile outer skin of the shuttle. Space Shuttle Columbia is covered by more than 20,000 fragile ceramic tiles. Those tiles are critical because they are what carry the heat load as a space shuttle comes in. We're talking in excess of 2,000 degrees. And it is, after all, an aluminum airframe underneath all those tiles. There was a piece of debris which struck the shuttle as it came off. Was it a piece of foam? Was it a piece of ice? Engineers were looking at it. They determined, looking very closely at these high-speed, very close cameras that they have, that this was not a significant issue. It was not anything that caused any sort of problem for the tiles. Or what is right along here is a substance called carbon-carbon. Let me see if I can tilt that for you. There you go. Right on the leading edge of the wing. These are some of the hottest places on the space shuttle. And this is made of what's called carbon-carbon. It's a substance which is able to withstand tremendous amounts of heat, is very hard, and given where it is and what it does, it has to maintain that airfoil, because the shuttle is, after all, a glider as it comes in for landing. It is a very, very important piece of the pie here, and if something fell on that, and cause some damage. Who knows what the implications of that might be. I'm not sure who we have left on the beeper line right now All right, we understand that President Bush is being briefed at Camp David as we speak. We have had Jerry Lineker and Norm Thagard online. I just don't know which one is available to us right now. Who is available to us, please? I have nobody right now, I guess. We have some new pictures coming in. I don't know where they come from. All right, let's take a look at this launch that I was just telling you about with the piece of debris. If we could run that through the telestrator, that'd be very helpful. I see you have it circled there. All right, now take a look inside that red circle there. Got this very, very slow. Look at that piece right there. What was that? We don't know. The engineers looked very closely at that and looked at it. Maybe that, I'm actually not sure I'm seeing it just now. Dave Santucci might have to help me, our producer, and help me identify it. He took him a long time looking at it to get a sense of what we're talking about. But there was something that fell off. The question was, what did it do? I talked to some people at Kennedy Space Center. They said this is not something of grave concern to us because we don't think it caused any damage. And they have much better cameras than what you're seeing here that can really, really home in on this and give you a sense of what's going on. They told us that it was nothing to worry about. And the only reason they were investigating it is, and this was the words of the engineer I spoke with, was that we had nothing else to work on because everything else was running so flawlessly. Jerry Lineker. Back on the line with us. Jerry Lineker, shuttle veteran, veteran of Mir. Debris falling off that external tank. And I don't want to get too far down this road of speculation here, but that is something that is treated with great seriousness, isn't it? Huh? I guess we don't have Jerry. If you could help me out and tell me who we have on the line. All right. I will continue on with my soliloquy as we look at these pictures coming from WFAA of multiple targets streaking across central Texas. Palestine, Texas is the place. And it occurred about 15 minutes before the anticipated landing of the Space Shuttle Columbia. And that should give you a sense of the speed. 15 minutes prior to landing, it's over Texas. This is a fast-moving vehicle, and still at a very high altitude, some 200,000 feet. Commercial airliner, 35,000, 40,000 maximum, so 5 times higher than you would ever fly in a commercial airliner, and many, many times faster, 6 or 7 times faster. All right, Jerry Lineker is back with us. Jerry, I was talking a little bit about this piece of debris, which they were looking very closely at on ascent. That's a serious concern, isn't it?
Yes, Miles. There's, you got a tremendous speeds and vibration, and obviously launch is something I think everyone knows how dynamic that is. But usually it's a large hunk of ice that can fall off, and you're worried about it hitting part of the orbiter itself, possibly one of the tiles or some of the insulation material. And then during re-entry, you've got some major heat buildup, and so you need those tiles.
And these tiles, there have been several cases. You go back to some of the early shuttle missions before they had wrung out all the details on how to adhere these tiles. I remember it was STS-3 or 4, third or fourth shuttle mission. Multiple tiles fell off because basically what happened was moisture got in, it froze on orbit, popped those tiles off. And I do recall on one mission where they actually trained a spy satellite on the shuttle, Columbia, to see if those tiles were critical tiles. Some tiles are more important than other tiles, aren't they?
They are over, components that you absolutely need, say control, actuators, things like that. So yes, some are more important than others, but you'd rather have the 100% there during re-entry. And again, if they looked at it hard, they probably had some very good filming during the launch to make sure that it wasn't a problem, and we would have heard about it probably in more detail, but of course they're going to be looking at everything.
All right, and I don't want to spend too much time going down what is an area of speculation at any case at this point anyway, but I wanted to point that out to our viewers to give you some context to the kinds of things that will be discussed as this investigation begins. Jerry, I hope you're still watching CNN. I'm going to show you some still photos that one of our viewers sent us. Take a look at this first shot. This comes from Adam. I don't have Adam's last name, but Adam, I thank you for it. If we can put the SP-103 on the air, please. And I'll show you what comes from Texas. And if you look, can we put that through the telestrator as well, so I can point out where things are? Trying to get that worked out as soon as we get that. But is what you can see, if you can see my pointer there, okay, right here in the upper center of your screen, that is the shuttle, Columbia, streaking across the sky. I've been exhorting viewers all morning to go out and take a peek. You'll notice one tail, okay? Now, this is clearly in the order of them taking. This is very distinct. And this, I'm presuming, is the next photo. And what you see very, very clearly here is piece number 1, piece number 2. All right, that's picture number 2. Now, as we continue on, you see it's harder to make this out, but what we're seeing here is it looks like multiple pieces. This could be out of order. That might have occurred before the previous one, but you'll see what amount to a bunch of little dots there.